In these uncertain economic times, you may find yourself out of a job. There's a few jobs out there that are recession-proof though. There's plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, but they all require schooling. There's a few jobs out there that are on the job training that are recession-proof. Bartenders, repo guys, and garage door installers. Today, we're going to look at garage door installers. When you get your door and you get to the job and you back up to it, the first thing you want to do is grab your tape measure and measure the opening. Make sure the door that you have is going to fit the opening. Check for side room and headroom and back room also at this time. You need a few basic tools to do it. You need a level, hammer, pre-punch angle, some nuts and bolts, screw guns, impact drivers, wrenches, ratchets, and sockets, and winding bars. You always need a ladder. General rule of thumb is ladder is going to be about 2 feet shorter than the height of the door. Grab your track, put them on the sawhorses, cut them apart, loosen up the bolts, nuts and bolts on it so the track slides back and forth, and then you set them off to the side and pre-position it right beside the door opening. Grab your spring, your shaft, and your drums, put the shaft inside the spring, attach it to the side with the 2 holes on it. There's your right hand drum and your left hand drum. You know the difference because you're standing inside there looking at the wall, left on left, right on right. And then take your bearing bracket and your bushing or bearing and bolt it onto the end of the spring. Cut the plastic off the sections and always make sure the bottom section's on top because that's the first one you're going to need. Leave the plastic in place, that way you don't mess up the outside of the door when you're hardwiring it. Grab your bottom fixture, your cable, and your cable pins. Cable pins are in all with the rest of the nuts and the bolts. Put it together, put it on the section, and screw it in with the screws that are provided. You have different number hinges. Number 1 hinges go on the center stiles. The 2, 3, 4, and so on go on the end stiles, starting with the number 2. There's quite a few holes there, but if you line up the hinge on the side of the section and right in line here, top of the section in line with the hinge part, you're going to have holes that are going to line up. Put your screws in it, do it for both sides. Here on the top section, your bracket's a little bit different, but they line up with the 2 sets of 4 holes each. Sometimes your doors will have struts. You put the struts on towards the center of the door and just make sure it's lined up on the center and it looks good. Take your rollers, put in your hinges and your bottom fixtures. Take the section, set it in the doorway. You can take a tape measure and measure each side, make sure it's centered, or just eyeball it, and you should be fine. Take a level it up if you need to level it. Make sure there's you can use the cardboard box that the hardware came in to level it up. Take your track, slide the rollers in it to it, and slide it behind the section. Give yourself about a 1/4 inch gap right here between the shoulder of the roller and the hinge, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, somewhere around there. Put your level on it, make sure the track's plumb. Once it's plumb and you got your gap right, you can go ahead and screw it off, drillers or lags depending on your jam material. I like to go ahead and finish it up all the way up to the top, and then that way you're done with it and don't have to go back to it. Stack in the rest of your sections except for the top section. Make sure they're all screwed off. At that point, take your cables, run them up the sides, and you can loop it around on itself if you need to keep it from falling. Take your vertical track and set it, your top section that's there, you shake it a little bit, you should have a little bit of room. Make sure it's in line right here so the roller will go through smooth. You attach those bolts and you can have somebody hold the back and make it a lot easier for you. And attach your horizontal to the head plate with the bolts provided, tighten it up. Then you make sure when you tighten everything up there's a slight incline to the rear of the door on your track, makes it work a little bit better. Take your spring right here, make sure that your shaft is nice and straight, it doesn't have a bow in it anywhere. Take your cable, slide into the end of the drum. Always do your left hand cable first, left hand drum first. The set screws will mess you up if you don't. Stick it in there, roll around, put your ratchet on there, tighten it up, You can use a wrench if you want to, but it takes a little bit longer. Pull it around so your cable's tight. Take your locking pliers on there and grip it so that when you pull on the cable's gonna stay tight. Look down the cable, make sure that's not hanging up on anything. Put your locking pliers on there on top of the roller so it doesn't go anywhere. Take your right hand drum, tighten it up, tighten your set screws up, the cable will be right. Number of turns right here is on the label on the hardware box. It says 10 turns on this door, so that's what you put on there. Stick your winding bar on the bottom, take it, pull it up, stick it in the bottom, pull it up again, stick it up in the bottom, let it rest against the header of the section. Take your top section at this point, you set it in place, one roller at a time. You can move the horizontal if you want to help you get that last roller in place. When you're done, put the hinges together. Run your door up about 3 sections high. Put your locking pliers on there and put your rope on there at this time too. So you can pull the door back down when it goes all the way up. Put your ladder at the back of the horizontals and you look down it and eyeball these 2 rollers right here. Just make sure the gap's about the same on that and your track's nice and square. When you get done with that, grab your, you can measure for your back hangs. You can make them on the ground or you can make them on the header or up in the ceiling. This line right here signifies that there's a 2x4 up there and you want to make sure you're in a 2x and not into the ceiling material itself. When the door's up, you can go ahead and lag off the track. After you get the back hangs done, you roll the door all the way up. Make sure the gap's the same on both sides. If not, you can adjust it. Making sure your track's lagged on the bottom. You can put your safety warning stickers on there, your lock rope keeper, your lock, your step plate, and that's what the door looks like when you're done. It goes up and down, run a couple of times, make sure everything's good. So if you need a new career, you want to earn a little bit extra money, help a friend, now you know what to do. You can install garage doors. Thank you for your time.